As a young citizen of India, armed with technology, knowledge, and love for my nation, with a vision of transforming India into a developed nation, I am joining Shobhit University. What about you?
Very good afternoon to all the participants from India and abroad. Shobhit Institute of Engineering and Technology, Meerut, deemed to be university, and its centers of excellences, Center for Agriculture, Informatics and E-Governance Research Studies, and Center for Agribusiness and Disaster Management Studies extend greetings to all the participants from India and abroad who are attending today the national webinar series on doubling farmers' income by 2022, Atmanirbhar Bharat in agriculture. This webinar series is being hosted on every Thursday, and today is 26th August 2021. This webinar is on the topic rural transformation for farmers' income increase, case studies from impoverished districts. On behalf of the Honorable Chancellor, Honorable Vice Chancellor, the faculty members of the university, and on my behalf, and as Professor Emeritus and Chairman of the Centers of Excellence, Center for Agricultural Informatics and E-Governance Research Studies, Center for Agribusiness and Disaster Management Studies, welcome today's guest speaker, Shri Mayank Gandhi. He is the founder, Global Vikas Foundation, and founder of Project Global Parli mission. He has undertaken a national mission, nation building through rural transformation. For the benefits of the participants and the guest speaker, so far under this webinar series, the university has organized 41 webinars on the topic during this COVID situation, started on 18th August 2020. Role of agricultural cooperative societies and e-governance, blockchain technology-based fishery value chain, self-contained village, a felt need of the day, spices informatics network value chain, land and a camera, a camouflaged treasure trove, smart hill agriculture, a digitalized hill agriculture value system, Mera mobile, Mera marketing, integrated mariculture, aquaponics, and precision agriculture, in short, MAPA biofarms for income revolution. Smart tribal agriculture optimizing value chains, digital agri-tech and industry perspective, land resources information systems in India present and road ahead, weather decision technologies for increasing farm income, big data in smart farming, sustainable soil and land management for climate smart agriculture, understanding market dynamics for increasing farm income, role of technologies in mitigating risk, crop risk, how to generate additional profit via simple, attractive approaches in farm produce, adoption of flexi rubber check dam technology, potential benefit for farmers in rainfed and coastal agro systems, realizing economic benefits of agroforestry, Octosol, organic humic solutions for increasing crop yields and quality while increasing farm income and improving soil health, closing the nutrient loop, phosphorus management in protein farming, improving nutrient use efficiency and farm productivity, artificial intelligence, enabled pest management technology for agriculture crop protection without pesticides, empowering farmers through extension and knowledge dissemination, role of mass media, smart poultry monitoring solutions, agrobiodiversity, intellectual property laws, agriculture and farmer welfare, and insight into the issues for India's agrarian economy, manufacture and application of biochar for increased soil fertility and crop productivity, sustainable integration of livestock with agriculture for farm income increase, role of geographical indications on improving farmers' income, lessons from Asia Pacific region, dairy informatics network value chain, a dairy tech perspective for farmers' income increase, spices informatics network value chain, a turmeric startup perspective for farmer income increase, generating sustainable on-income through fine tech intervention, Nutrition sensitive agriculture, pathway for increasing farmer income, artificial intelligence and data analytics to ensure optimal nutrition in the soil, harvested food that minimizes human disease. Bioenergy supply chain, a business opportunity for rural enterprises and FPOs, farmer produce organization. Tech enabling India's tech starved farmers for manifold increase in productivity and income. Open insurance ecosystem for agriculture produce, risk management solutions to overcome repercussions on farmer income, market stability, and food safety. Role of mass media for farmer income increase, case study from Green TV. AgStack, Agriculture Stack, open source digital infrastructure for the agriculture ecosystem, a Linux Foundation project. Circular bioeconomy towards resilience, urgent need for redefining raw materials and modified waste management policies and regulations. Agritech, new horizon in Indian agriculture, supporting of farmers for marketing only will help doubling farmers' income by 2022. Today is the 42nd edition of this national webinar series, which will be addressed by Shri Mayank Gandhi, founder, Global Vikas Foundation, and founder, Project Global Parli Mission, Nation Building through Rural Transformation. On the very important topic, rural transformation for farmers' income increase, case studies from impoverished districts. Dear participants, please note the keyword of the main topic, rural transformation, farmers' income increase, case studies, and impoverished districts. Agriculture sector, as you know, the foundation of Indian economy, and it employs more than 50% of the India's workforce and contributes almost 17 to 18% of its GDP. Impacted world over as a result of anthropogenic global warming and climate change. India's labor-intensive and subsistence-based agriculture sector is particularly vulnerable to this development. Climate change has both the direct and indirect effects on agricultural productivity, flooding and changes in the geographical areas of about 14 crore farmers, of which 85% effective control on their production. India faced operational difficulties for its impact at farm level and farmer level, that too at small and marginal farmers. On 15th August 2021, Honorable Prime Minister in his Independence Day address, he has said this is our dream. Chota Kisan, Bane Desh ki Shaan. Small farmers become the pride of the nation. Reforms towards digitalization of agricultural systems. Government of India, through its National Informatics Center, with which I was associated for more than 35 years, I was a product of National Informatics Center, has prepared IT blueprint for agriculture sector through National Conference on Informatics for Sustainable Agricultural Development is done.
So I think there was some internet problem in uh, Professor Moni connection. He is joining next 30 seconds.
has prepared IT blueprint for agriculture sector through a national conference on informatics for sustainable agriculture development ISDA in May 1995 and Smart Village Program 2002 to 2007 and 2007-2012 and Government of India launched National E-Governance Program in Agriculture NEGPA in 2005. Volume 3, Volume 4, Volume 11 and Volume 12B of the Doubling Farmers' Income by 2022-18 of Government of India have suggested reforms measure for income rise through digitalization of farming sector. Agricultural logistics is the backbone of agribusiness and agricultural marketing is the brain behind value realization. Volume 3 of the Doubling Farmers' Income report talks about post-production agri-logistics, maximizing gain for farmers. Volume 4 post-production intervention, agriculture marketing. Volume 11, empowering the farmers through a Volume 11 and Volume 12B, I was associated as the group chairman. And the Volume 12B of the Doubling Farmers' Income by 2022 suggested 7 mission board projects for complete digitalization of agriculture. And I would like to quote it. Digitalized agriculture, digital technology and innovation in agriculture, Digital India, Make in India, Skill India, Startups India programs for transformational reforms in agriculture sector in 3 categories: smart irrigated farming, smart rainfed farming, and smart tribal farming. Digitalized agromet advisories and agricultural risk management solutions. Digitalized agricultural resources information system and micro level planning, facilitating smart village and smart farming. Digitalized value chain for about 400 agriculture commodities. Digitalized access to inputs, technology, knowledge, skill, agriculture finance, credit, marketing, and agribusiness management to farmers. Digitalized integrated land and water management system per drop more crop. Digitalized farm health management for reduction of farmers' loss. This talks about integrated farmers' health, plant health, animal health, soil health, water health, and fisheries health. Doubling farmers' income by 2022 also talks about in Volume 11 that the need for development of a network of cooperative societies, namely CoopNet, Cooperative Informatics Network, and automation of each cooperative society, titled e-cooperatives, to facilitate governance and operational efficiency in the cooperative sector is good for rural India. And 3 Farm Acts 2020 is a game changer, and this is facilitating the 85% of the farming community, small and marginal farmers. Atmanirbhar Bharat, this is the vision of Prime Minister of India, Sri Narendra Modi, of making India self-reliant nation, rested on 5 I's: intent, inclusion, investment, and infrastructure and innovation, resting on 5 pillars: economy, quantum jump; infrastructure, one that represents modern India; systems, 21st century, technology-driven, vibrant demography is the sources of energy for self-reliant India, and the demand, whereby the strength of our demand and supply chain should be utilized to the full capacity. In its third tranche of Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, Government of India has announced for the agriculture sector about 1.5 lakh crore as the booster. Now let us come to the transforming rural India. Mahatma Gandhi envisaged India as a nation of self-sufficient, autonomous village republics. Let me read once again. Mahatma Gandhi, father of our nation, envisaged India as a nation of self-sufficient, autonomous village republics. Land is the summum bonum of rural existence, and agriculture structure was the most important determinant of India's development. Transforming India, TRI, is also a Tata Trust initiative that works to trigger large-scale transformation of villages in regions of endemic poverty, especially in Madhya Pradesh, Jharkhand, and Chhattisgarh. And as an informatics scientist, I also written a lot of articles in this area. And the first one is on 2005, rural India, different meaning to different people. And it's something like the five, you know, differently abled visionary, problems people, as if they are understanding the elephant. The rural India, different meaning to different people. Then sustainable livelihoods with ICT in rural India. In 2006, I wrote an article, Rural India to Shine, Smile, and Roar. And 2014, I have worked on a project proposal, Digital India, digitally connected and enabled for long-term sustainable development of village. And 2006, in an article, Digital Inclusion for Fostering Rural Prosperity and Grassroots Level Development, a much needed domestic strategy for sustainable livelihoods in rural India. And as a member of the state government's task force, I along with the other two members, report on mainstreaming ICT for agriculture development in the state of Jharkhand, a much needed domestic strategy for sustainable livelihoods. And in 2014, I would like to refer to the big scheme that is called Sanset Adarsh Gram Yojana program. It envisages integrated development of a village across multiple areas such as agriculture, health, education, sanitation, environment, and livelihoods, etc. ICR came out with another very big program, Climate Smart Village. And in the Digital Village project, which I have initiated, I was instrumental in getting the scheme approved in 2002 from the Planning Commission that's called Smart Village Program. And due to various reasons, I was not able to operationalize it. I wanted 28 one model village in every state and one in Andaman, so 29. I was not able to get succeeded in Smart Village program. And when our Honorable Prime Minister announced 2014 Smart City, and that time, after my retirement as a Director General NIC, I joined the Shobhit Institute of Engineering Technology as Professor Emeritus and established Center for Agricultural Informatics, E-Governance and Research Studies. I launched that Smart Village project. And this consists of various components like e-governance, e-education, e-health, e-agriculture, e-livelihoods, e-commerce, e-environment, e-disaster management, e-agriculture insurance, e-judiciary, e-traditional knowledge and practices, and e-value system. And 3 days back, that is, I think on 17th August 2021, the Ministry of Tribal Affairs has announced, and it has notified, it has also published in various national dailies, that it has begun as paid work for the program, which would be initiated in this fiscal itself. According to the sources, the ministry has written to the states to identify villages in different districts and ascertain the development gaps where the center's intervention is required. The center is set to start a phased transformation program across 1.5 lakh tribal villages to convert them into model village in next 2 years. The new program called Pradhan Mantri Adi Adarsh Gram Yojana, which will be initiated across India in multiple phases. The first phase will include 3,600 and 428 villages with at least 50% tribal population. Agri-tech is a new horizon in agriculture sector, and what has made agri-tech is the sunrise sector that it is today. It could be combination of various reasons. One is that Modi's led government's agri-push focused on doubling farmers' income, and second one is that the overall ecosystem evolution. Better access to farming as a solution and financing. And the centers of excellence of the for 82 editions, and we must ensure that Indian farmer benefits from all these tech developments right up front. I endorsed the 4 centers of excellence of the university are focused on this core issue. Let us now turn to the address of Shri Mayank Gandhi, founder Global Vikas Foundation, founder Project Global Parli Mission, on the very important topic rural transformation for farmers' income increase. Case studies from Impoverished districts, rural India to shine, smile, and roar again. According to the synopsis of the guest speaker, the Global Parli Mission has facilitated multiplying farmers' annual income from 10,000 to 40,000 to over 1 lakh per acre. This topic will motivate, the topic will motivate and galvanize the participants watching over telecast through facebook.com, youtube.com, and linkedin.com for developing many joint collaborative research projects for replicating the global Parli model across India under the chairmanship of Mr. Mayank Gandhi. We are moving towards a digitalized platform economy in agriculture, as Digital India is the way of life as envisioned by the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi. Let me invite our guest speaker to the participant. Before that, let me introduce our guest speaker, Mr. Mayank Gandhi, to the participants. Mr. Manish. Mr. Manish, can you put the profile of Shri Mayank Gandhi? Shri Mayank Gandhi is the founder, Global Vikas Foundation, Global Parli Mission, Mumbai, state of Maharashtra. Mr. Mayank Gandhi started his career as an international urban planner. In 2011, he was part of the leadership of India Against Corruption movement and Aam Aadmi Party. In 2015, he quit the politics and dedicated his life for nation building. His trust chose 106 villages with highest suicides, droughts, and poverty villages in Marathwada, Maharashtra. He has created a proof of concept model with 360 degrees village development, water harvesting, and multiplying farmers' income by over 20 times. Through his rural economic transformation model with Global Parli, he believes that India can be transformed by multiplying farmers' incomes. So far, he has led the Global Parli movement, which has planted over 1 crore fruit trees in the last 2.5 years, benefiting thousands of farmers and greening the environment. Mr. Mayank Gandhi, we are very happy and pleased to host you today in the national webinar series on doubling farmers' income by 2022 on the very important topic that rural transformation for farmers' income increase, case studies from impoverished districts. Over to Mr. Mayank Gandhi, and for your address. Thank you very much. We were very much impressed by your motivation, your mission, and gone to a district where you have proved your mission that it is working. Over to you. Thank you.
Namaste. Namaste to all of you. Can I ask Professor Moni, should I speak in English or should I speak in Hindi? I'm okay with both.
Both English, because the participants are throughout India, abroad, and so on and so forth.
Okay.
And
fine,
you are an international urban planner.
No, it's not that I cannot speak English, but I'm more comfortable with Hindi. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Thank you so much for having me here. And it's been a pleasure and an honor to be with you and listening to whatever Professor Moni was saying and the kind of work that you are doing in your university. All the best to you. I will quickly go through my journey, and that may explain exactly what I'm doing right now, what I intend to do. I have been an urban planner and have been working with some of the top developed nations in the world, including USA, UK, Hong Kong, Dubai, France, Spain. So I used to work there, and as I used to work, I used to look at the lives of the people in that country and how they lived a life of dignity, relative dignity compared to the normal people in India. And I felt that, can I do something for this country? Can I give a life of similar nature uh, to Indians? And that's how I came back to India. Essentially, I was not settled abroad, but I used to travel a lot abroad for my consultation work. But I came to India and I started working with the people of this country. And as I worked with this country, I started realizing that the people of this country are wonderful people. They have not been given the opportunity or the chances that can change, that transform this country. So my goal, unlike all of you, I am not an agriculture expert. I have not much knowledge on this subject. But Gandhiji used to say that the soul of India lives in its villages. So it always, I felt that if you have to change the country, maybe you need to change the rural India, because there a vast majority of Indians live in rural. So I came here, I worked with Anna Hazare and we drafted the Right to Information Bill. I was part of many other laws, but most of them were urban driven laws. And then Kejriwal met me, and together we started the India Against Corruption movement. This movement was basically, how do you transform this country? And then it morphed into a political party. And after the victory, 67 seats in Delhi, I realized that I was not cut out to be a politician. I was not cut out. I could not work in politics because there are certain characteristics of working in politics which I was not comfortable with. Osho used to say that there is richness and poverty in life. And I felt working in politics was extreme poverty. And so I quit politics completely. Also because our party at that time, the Aam Aadmi Party, had taken a direction which I was not very comfortable with. We are becoming one more political party. So instead of changing the political narrative or the narrative of the nation, we are going back to all other political parties. So I felt I was not suitable to be part of that, and I quit politics. This was in the end of 2015. बट वो कीड़ा तो था मेरे अंदर कि देश को कैसे बदलना है. So without having an organization, without having anything, I decided I will continue to work for the betterment of the country. And listening to Gandhiji and saying that rural India is where one needs to work at, I jumped into rural India to start working. And I said, if I want to change the country, then I need to take the worst area in the country and transform that. And if I can transform the worst area, then maybe I could take that model and replicate it across the nation to change the country. So I did this intellectual exercise. I said highest suicides. So it was Marathwada. Which was the worst district in Marathwada? Bid. Which was the worst taluka in Bid district? And I came to the conclusion that it was Parli. While the average irrigated average of India was 40%, Parli was 1.72%. And it had the highest number of suicides, farmer suicides. There were 6 droughts in the last 8 years. The income of farmer was around 3,500 per farmer family per month. They had never tasted milk in their lives. And they were living because they were not yet dead. So this whole atmosphere was one of depression. It was one of helplessness. And when we went there initially, they kept on asking for money, asking for help. And I used to wonder, such a proud nation that we were, have we come to this state that when somebody comes from outside, you are seeking for alms, you are begging for money? I think that needs to change. So it wasn't just income or agriculture or far rural. I just thought people had to change. And typically I had some disadvantages. One disadvantage was that except for Lagan movie, I had never seen a village in my life. And two, I did not know a word of Marathi, and I had gone right into the heartland of Maharashtra. So, be it may, and of course, I did not have any money. So, I sold my flat and I decided I will do Seva all my life. And I started working with the uh, people in that area. And I was an urban planner, so I was kind of a consultant. And every consultant thinks that he knows everything. So I was like that. I also felt that I knew everything till I went to rural India and started living with them. And I quickly realized that I know nothing. And the first thing I need to do is to unlearn. So the tea that was in my cup, I had to throw away before I could fill any more. So I started understanding rural India. So, typically what happens is people in the urban go there, they donate something, they will give a RO plant, they will give some money, they will give some cycle, they will give some lamps and feel that they have done their bit. I was not somebody who would be satisfied with that. I wanted to transform them completely. And when I went there, I realized that farmers' children did not want to do farming. So I used to wonder here, what will happen to this country if the children of farmer do not want to do farming? So the only which way to attract them to farming was to make farming viable, to make income possible in farming. Because right now what they were earning there was very abysmal. So initially I started working with them. I quickly realized that a farmer's life is like a multiple organ failure. You work on the heart, the liver will pull you away. You work on the liver, the lungs will pull you away. So if you really want to transform villages, you have to work on a 360 degrees. You have to work on all aspects of life. Then only would you be able to really be able to make an impact on the lives of the people. So I started living there. I started working with there, started understanding them. And we started working on a 360 degrees on water, on livelihood, on education, on healthcare, on every aspect of life, skill development, capacity building, Gram Swaraj, because then we wanted people to fight for their own thing. But I had this thought that in this country, major transformations do not take place like this. They take place through movements, whether it is the Mahatma Gandhi's movement or the movement against the emergency or the Mandir, Mandal or the latest Anna movement. It is these movements which have the power to transform people. They have the power to transform lives. So I felt let us create a movement here because till now the movements that have been happening have been movements that have been destructive. They have been confrontational. So it's like going to break a building without having a blueprint about how to make a new one. And which is why in this country, even though there has been success of movements, major transformation, major changes have not taken place. So I felt that I will also convert this whole thing into a movement, but a constructive movement, a pro-development movement, a movement in which people benefit, and not just something where isko gali do, isko dhoka do, murdabad, jindabad, and creating social unrest and coming to the ground for that. I was not a big proponent of that. So when I used to go to the villages, and of course the villagers used to come and meet me, listen to me, they already knew about me that I was somebody who was very keen to improve their lives. But I remember that all the rows of people sitting to listen to me all consisted of men folk. And you cannot have a movement without women and music. And so I just thought I will tell you about one story that happened, which was kind of a breakthrough story in this entire journey. So one day I was speaking with my broken Marathi in a temple premise. Typically, village meetings take place in temple premises. And while I was speaking, somebody was speaking above me. And I got a little irritated and I said, at least don't come drunk into a temple premise. After that meeting, finished, I felt I should not have said it. Because that person must be somebody's brother, somebody's uncle. And to publicly humiliate him was maybe not the right thing to do. But the Sarpanch took it very seriously. In the evening, the Sarpanch went to that person who was selling liquor and said, listen, in the last few months, 7 people have died of cirrhosis of liver. At night, people are drunk and sleeping on the road. Ladies had started drinking, small children had started drinking. Why don't you stop selling liquor? I don't know what happened to that man. Oh, Sandhya Kal ka time tha. He got very emotional and he said, I've got 7 days worth of stock. Let me sell that off. And then I will stop selling liquor. So at night, the Sarpanch called me and said, this is the conversation I had. So I thought it was a great opportunity. And next morning, I went to that liquor shop and I caught his feet and said, God has come within you. And remember, at that time, I used to come every day on television and I was kind of people used to think I was a celebrity. In reality, people who have no work go to television channels. But they felt that I was some big man who had come 450 kilometers away from Mumbai to help them. So I said, how will you live? Let me give you 3 pregnant goats. And you start goat rearing. And 7 days later, he stopped selling liquor. I gave him 3 pregnant goats. And it became a big success. And I felt that I have hit onto a formula. In those old movies, they used to say formula number 44. So I got my formula number 44. And I started traveling village to village, taking the cops with me, and we would raid the villages. And the menfolk would typically run away. And I would hold the ladies' feet and say, Mataji, till I am here, the raids will not stop. Why don't you stop selling liquor? I will give you 3 pregnant goats. So that 3 pregnant goats became very popular. And soon we stopped selling. There was a complete stopping of selling of liquor. And very importantly, and in the evening, the ladies and children would go with mashals saying, Daru Bandi Jalij Paija, meaning should stop the sale of liquor. And they would sit outside shops, liquor shops with those manjira and keep on singing Ramdhun. And like that, the complete villages stopped selling liquor. It did not mean that they stopped drinking liquor. Few of them went outside the village to somewhere other places to drink. But the incidence of liquor drinking dropped substantially. And because of this, what happened was the movement started. The woman started saying, Arey, my brother has come all the way from Mumbai. And I'm going to go and listen to him. I'm going to participate in that movement. And then it became like a big movement of villagers to take control of their lives. So while I was working along with the farmers, along with the villagers in a big way, I started thinking that if I work like this, if I work trying to change villages, trying to change their mindset, then in this life I might be able to do 20, 50, 100 villages. And India has 640,000 villages. So how do I scale up? How do I go to the level in which the whole country can be impacted? I did not have any ambition of changing lives of few people. For me, the ambition has always been, how do I change the nation? This country, at one stage, few centuries back, had over 35% of the economy and 30% of the trade. Today, we are 3.25% of the economy and 0.8% of the trade. So even if India sinks today, the rest of the world are going to just shrug off and say, that's it. So I thought that needs to change and we need to become a Sone ki Chidiya again. So I started working with change my track, and I told the farmer, this was 2018. I told the farmers, come on, now that we are all come together, let's take control of our lives, just change it. And in the summer of 2018, all of us came together in large numbers. I remember at 6 a.m., 5:30 a.m., we used to go get everyone out of their houses, and along with gamela, powder, and all equipments, we used to start working on the grass. We used to start working on the ground. And in 1.5 months, you might be surprised to know that we created a 70-kilometer river. We created 162 farm ponds. We created 62 check dams. And we did a lot of things. And we brought in 222 crore liters of water storage into that area. So suddenly the whole mood of that place changed from a despondent, Hamara kuch nahi hoga, I am living because I am not dead. From that mindset to a mindset in which said, you don't worry, we will change our destiny. So they used to tell us, the youngsters used to tell us, sir, you don't come into the picture, we will change our destiny. That was a big transformation. So the transformation really happened not on the ground as much as it happened in the mind. So that to my mind was the success of what we did. After 2018, in 2019, I went to the farmers and told them, okay, why don't we change our cropping pattern? Today we are growing cotton and soya. So cotton and soya, we were getting typically 5 quintals an acre. And in that year, 2018, I remember, 2019, they used to sell cotton at 4,200 rupees a quintal. So at 5 quintal production, they would sell for 21,000 rupees an acre. And with the expenses and all that they would get in their hand was around 10 to 12,000 rupees an acre. And typically they were 2 to 3 acre land holding. And because of the droughts, there were 6 droughts in the last 8 years. Because of the drought, they could not do the next crop also. So they were in very bad state. So I suggested, why don't you stop planting cotton and soya, and let's work on alternative crops. So I had a team which suggested to me that why don't you get them to start planting fruits and vegetables and horticulture basically. So that's what we suggested to them. And in 2019, farmers changed their cropping pattern and started planting horticulture crops, mostly mango, custard apple, guava, lemon, papaya, drumstick, mosambi, orange, all kind of trees, drumstick. So they started planting that, and we got extraordinary results. And that's what happened in 2019 and 2020 this year. Sorry, 2021 this year. So in 2019, we planted around 12 lakh trees. In 2020, we planted 19 lakh trees. And this year, we have targeted that we must cross 1 crore. So I am happy to inform you that few days back, we have now planted 1 crore trees in the farmer fields, which has increased the income substantially of the farmers. So what we do is, of course, we give them the uh, this is not rocket science to grow fruit trees. Everyone has been growing fruit trees for so many years and so many decades. But I started studying the whole thing and realized that there were 3 gaps into this way they were doing plantation and doing horticulture. So gap number 1 was that the quality of planting material was not good. So we had a team which traveled all over the country searching for the correct kind of planting material, something which would be appropriate for soil, weather, water and economics. And because we would buy in bulk, a typically 60 rupee plant we would get in about 20-25 rupees. And our trust would subsidize it, give it to them for 15 to 10 rupees, which was by which they were able to buy a 60 rupee plant for 10-12 rupees. So that was a big advantage to them. And we gave them the best quality that was available in the country. The second gap that we found was that they were working on traditional farming methods. It was time to bring them up. So we started training sessions, and every 10 days we would have training online, offline. We have a booklet which we used to give to farmer about how to do the plantation. We had training sessions. We had experts 24/7. If you have any problem in any plant, we would help. We also asked them to do intercropping so that their plantation period would begin very quickly. And with that, so we married the traditional farming with modern farming. We insisted that every farmer should have drip irrigation, and we trained them to such an extent that I must say with confidence that I don't think any farmer group in this country would be as trained as our people. And thirdly was the most important. In the first year, 2019, we planted 1.46 lakh papaya trees. Now, if you understand that this is less than 1% of the papaya trees of Maharashtra, but because they were in a cluster, people came from all over the country to buy our papayas. So people came from Delhi, they came from uh, Mysore, they came from uh, South, they came from Madhya Pradesh, they came from all over the country. They gave a good rate to our farmer and purchased everything from the farm gate. So the learning that was that if you grow in scale, then you don't need to come to the market will come to you. So that was a great benefit that happened. And then we did that with every plant. And we realized that because we had scale, today, this year, for example, we did 16 lakh papaya, we did 46 lakh banana. So now we are planting in big numbers. And because of that scale, we are getting market to come to our farmers and buy at the farm gate at good prices. So we realized that scale worked for us. So with this, the incomes of our farmers started growing from 10 to 20,000 rupees an acre to around 2 to 3 lakh rupees an acre. So this was a huge transformation. And with this model, we were able to go ahead and do it in. So where we had begun initially with 15 villages, then grew to 106 villages, then grew to half of Marathwada, which is around 8,000 villages. And today we are working in 15 districts, which include 7 districts of Marathwada, 8 districts of Marathwada, 1 district of Palghar in Maharashtra, and 6 districts in Madhya Pradesh. So we are working with thousands and thousands of villages to improve their productivity, to improve their incomes, and the most important thing I must say, while we were able to increase the income, so income would increase of individuals, of villagers, of their family, of the community of villages. But more importantly, because we were doing in a cluster, we brought in a lot of industry which were coming. So more small and medium scale industries which would come and start buying, doing processing, supply chain, all of those things. India, remember, has over 50% of the market share of fruit plantation, but we do less than 1% of exports. So that's a big gap that we need to fill in. But the most important that satisfied me completely was that because we were doing in clusters, we were able to increase the oxygen, we were able to reduce the global warming, the monsoon was attracted because of the green foliage, the leaves that would fall would increase biomass, you would transport the water into the aquifers, and very importantly, as an spiritual man, I would say that every fruit tree would give life to millions of microorganisms, birds, bees, insects, humans, animals. So when we were planting trees, we are actually planting lives. So it was extremely satisfying to us that in one thing we were able to achieve so much. So instead of going and planting for agroforestry or in the fields, what we did was we got the farmers to plant in their lands, increase their income while benefiting the environment. So this is the kind of work that I am doing here. And there are 3 aspects to this, which I would like to share with you. One aspect was that what we did is a proof of concept to transform this country. The second was we take this up and scale it up and replicate it across the nation. So right now, while we are doing in a few thousand villages in Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra, Next year, we would be doing in at least 7 to 8 districts or 7 to 8 states. So we want to scale up and replicate because we think that this model can change, transform this country. Don't you think that from a 10 to 40,000 rupees income per acre, if you bring it to over 1 lakh or 2 lakh rupees in income, this country can change. So we are trying to transform this country. We are not looking to do some small incremental work here, there. We want to change this nation forever. And there is a madness for us to do that. Whether we'll succeed or not, we don't know. But the third part is, how do we institutionalize the whole model? How do you create a model which is going to... So for example, right now, the plantation of fruit trees is around 3.23% of the total arable land available. Now, if we were, and China is 13.95%. Now, if we were to increase our arable land or fruit plantation to 11%, it would add 3.23 lakh crore rupees to the revenue, which is 2.2% of the GDP. It's massive. It's not a small thing. So while we work at the micro level, we also have our eyes that how do we change the country? How do we transform them? And we are not married to fruits. We are married to minimum 1 lakh rupee per acre. Now that can be fruits, that can be vegetables, it can be aromatics, it can be herbal, it can be vegetables, it can be anything. But farmers need to earn at least 1 lakh rupee an acre. And for that, whatever processes, whatever support we have to give, we will give. So the three pillars which we believe can change this, transform this country, one is youth, second is training, and third is technology. So we use all of those three to try and transform this country. I think I have spoken a lot, and I will stop now. If there are any questions or any clarity that you would like, I'll be very happy to share that.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayank Gandhiji. And today, your talk has brought us to think about the present day Mr. Mayank Gandhi and the father of nation, and also our great person, Mr. Anna Hazare. And his model village concept has evoked a lot of response in Maharashtra and other parts of the world, country. And today you also has gone to a very difficult district where you said it that where now you are able to change within 3 to 4 years, and with your own mission and devotion and commitment. And you also very rightly said it that youth, training, and technology. And these three components, 1, and you said that you put it as a mission as that rupee 1 lakh per acre, and have a good planting material. And these are all some of the things that which you have, as you rightly said it, that it is not a rocket science. Only thing is people should be able to walk without chappal in the village. That you have done it, and we are proud of you and the way in which you have shown the result. And this has to be institutionalized. And such type of pilot project, model project has to be institutionalized it. And I think that this is it's a very important journey which you have done it. A man with international urban, as an international urban planner, and then coming down to work with the great person like Mr. Anna Hazare, and then when having a political victory, when you take a call that okay, fine, this is rather than staying in capitals, let me move down to village. And this is a very big decision which you have taken. It's a call, and you said it that it is your inner call has made you to go back to village. And then also, rather than staying in Mumbai, you traveled 450 districts going down to Parli village, and where you started working on it, and you have shown the results. And as a person born and brought up in village, walked so many kilometers to attend schools in the early 60s, and then trying to work in, bringing in technology back to a, rural area. And it gives satisfying, lessons for every one of us. And to hear from a person from the heart. And that's why this is this national webinar series on doubling farmers' income by 2022. Even though it is doubling, the word is doubling, but you are proving on the ground. It is not necessarily to be doubling. It can be 20 times. And you put it that, that is a 1 lakh per annum, per acre is the, income. And it's a phenomenal, development. Things has to be documented. Very important thing that, in those days, in 80s, in planning commission, we used to be told when we start anybody who talks about micro level planning, there is one document called Kundrakudi experiment. The religious leader in Kundrakudi in Tamil Nadu, he was able to bring in SNT-led development in around his village, around his ashram. He used to go and discuss with the district level officers, bring all the schemes toward and synergized at the villages, which are coming under his adhina, his religious, organization. And that is called Kundrakudi experiment, which has made interest, with our great former Prime Minister, Madam Indira Gandhi. And at that time, this was documented very much. So like Kundrakudi experiment documentation, and I request that, your, experiment at Parli has to be, documented. So it should be called like a Kundrakudi experiment, Kundrakudi, micro level planning experiment. That be also a Parli document. So this is my request. I think, we will be, from the, Shobhit Institute of Engineering Technology, and this doubling farmers, national webinar series, I think we should be in a position to document that Parli experiment with your, support and so on and so forth. This is my, interest. But you also said it very, very nicely. Said it that, you are spreading from number of villages to, from one district, one state to, and also spreading to various other states. And I still remember that, I would like to tell you that I was the, in 1987, I was given the role of that project director for, bringing in project development for district level computerization in 512 districts when Mr. Rajiv Gandhi was the Prime Minister. And that time we were supposed to expand in 512 district, NICNET, and the district program, District Information System Program. And I have visited, I have taken Kerala as a model, visited all the districts, had workshops, and I presented my document to the 5 district collectors conference at that time when Mr. Rajiv Gandhi organized it. When I walked in, in the state of Kerala, and I was shown black flag on those time, 87, 88, no computerization. And, but today you see the situation. And that time itself, it was a one, I was able to come out with the 28 sectoral database development program. If, as put it in the document, if the district administration would have developed databases today with technologies like artificial intelligence, big data analytics, development planning for each village would have been possible. Today in the country, we don't have a comprehensive village level information system. And that, when I talked about in my initial introductory remark that, 7 mission mode project recommendation, it all came out from my own experience and expertise working for more than 30 years. When I was given the responsibility, I thought that I should put it. We don't have a comprehensive agricultural resources information system in the country. We don't have a farmer-wise, farm-wise comprehensive database. And then it needs a national level database on farmer comprehensively. It's necessary so that many startups can work on their, forms to bring in developmental exercises that. So these are all the problems at the grassroots level. But the person like you, walk down to the village, walk down to such a place where the services are needed, and you are able to convince the people and seen the lot of problems, and then you are in a position to show that this is to be done, and you have proved it. And it is a very important journey which you have done it. And without even mixing any words, you are able to talk from your heart that the journey which you have taken it is like a urban planning. You have done a very good rural planning, that for a rural development, it's very important. And I am very happy. And Professor Ashok has given you a reference, even though we know that there was one Mr. Mayank Gandhi who has left the political systems. But afterwards, I completely was not having your contact. But 2 weeks back, Mr. Professor Ashok, he was a former, chief general manager of NABARD. He gave you a reference that, he talked, on 19th August, and he gave it that, this is, it's very important that Mr. Mayank Gandhi should also deliver a talk in this one. And that's why I contacted you. It was very nice. We were got very much, it's like an insightful, address, it's an important address which many of the startups should listen to you. Today, startups are working in agriculture sector. The thing is that they don't have a motivator. They don't have a mentor. Many places that. And I have been always used to talk that this country needs at least one startup in every Gram Panchayat. And that's why purposefully in my introductory one, I said it that let us generate a lot of collaborative projects on the model of Parli in throughout country, because we have 6.25 lakhs villages in the country. And we have to, motivate this type of model projects, throughout the country, for the benefit of 14 crore farmers, 85% of the small and marginal farmers. I think you wanted to show a movie. Why don't you, why don't we have that movie to be put it on your mission?
I think Mr. Mahesh
Manish?
Manish has the
Mr. Manish?
video. Can you please show?
Yeah, Mr. Manish.
नमस्ते। कुछ साल पहले मैं एक इंटरनेशनल अर्बन प्लानर था और डेवलप्ड कंट्रीज के लोगों की लाइफ देखता था तो मुझे लगता था कि मेरे भारतवासी की जीवन ऐसा कब होगा। एक जिद कर ली कि मैं पूरी जिंदगी इसी की कोशिश करूंगा कि ये भारत कब बदले, राष्ट्र का निर्माण कब हो। और मैंने अन्ना जी के साथ राइट टू इंफॉर्मेशन के ऊपर काम किया और कुछ कानूनों के ऊपर काम किया। और 2011 में अन्ना जी और अरविंद केजरीवाल के साथ मिलके इंडिया अगेंस्ट करप्शन मूवमेंट जो शुरू की, जो वर्ल्ड की वन ऑफ द बिगेस्ट मूवमेंट थी, उसकी लीडरशिप में मैं था। फिर वो मूवमेंट जो थी वो एक पॉलिटिकल पार्टी बनी, आम आदमी पार्टी, जिसका मैं नेशनल एग्जीक्यूटिव मेंबर था। लेकिन जैसे मैं पॉलिटिक्स में घुसा और मैंने जो जो देखा, मुझे ये लगने लगा मेरे से राजकारण नहीं हो पाएगा। और मैंने 2015 में पॉलिटिक्स कंप्लीटली छोड़ दिया। लेकिन वो कीड़ा तो था कि मैं कैसे इस देश को बदलूं। गांधी जी कहते थे इंडिया सोल लिव्स इन इट्स विलेजेस। अगर इंडिया को बदलना है तो गांव को बदलना पड़ेगा, और अगर मॉडल बनाना है देश को बदलने का, ऐसी जगह सिलेक्ट करें जहां सबसे ज्यादा तकलीफ हो। मराठवाड़ा में हाईएस्ट सुसाइड्स होते थे और 2016 के अंदर तो कुछ ऐसे गांव थे जहां पे लोग पानी के लिए तरसते थे, सुसाइड्स हो रही थी, डिप्रेशन के अंदर लोग थे। 3,500 रुपया इनकम फैमिली की थी और इसलिए जीते थे क्योंकि मरे नहीं थे।
Hello, welcome to Parli. Parli is a pilgrimage for us. It is where Mayank landed up and found people walking around with dead men's eyes. They had no water to drink and no one to care for them. But Mayank cared.
परली के अंदर मैंने पानी देना शुरू किया टैंकर। 56 गांव के अंदर 60,000 लोगों को 1.5 करोड़ लीटर हमने पानी दिया। मैंने इसके पहले लगान पिक्चर छोड़ के कोई गांव नहीं देखा था, मुझे मराठी नहीं आती थी, और मैं गांव में घूमने लगा और वहां के लोगों की हालत देख के बहुत दुख होता था। क्या कर सकता हूं मैं, कैसे इस एरिया को बदल सकता हूं और ये मॉडल को लेके देश बदल सकता हूं, इसके ऊपर विचार करने लगा और मैंने डिसीजन ले लिया। मैंने सोचा पूरा जीवन सेवा में ही गुजारूंगा, और मैंने जहां नौकरी थी वो छोड़ दी और मेरे पास एक फ्लैट मैंने बुक किया था वो बेच दिया और गांव में मैंने काम करना शुरू कर दिया। लेकिन एक चीज मैंने तुरंत मुझे समझ में आ गई कि जो गांव है ये एक मल्टीपल ऑर्गन फेलियर जैसा है। हार्ट के ऊपर आप काम करोगे लीवर खींच लेगा, लीवर पे काम करोगे लंग खींच लेगा। तो अगर आपको गांव बदलना है तो आपको 360 डिग्री हर एक एस्पेक्ट पे काम करना पड़ेगा। हमने पानी के ऊपर काम किया, हमने इनकम जनरेशन के ऊपर काम किया, एजुकेशन के ऊपर खूब काम किया, स्वास्थ्य के ऊपर, हेल्थ केयर के ऊपर काम किया, फिर स्किल डेवलपमेंट के ऊपर किया, कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग के ऊपर किया। गांव वालों को तैयार करने के लिए जो डिप्रेशन में था, जिसकी आंख के अंदर अग्नि नहीं थी, सोललेस आइज बोलते थे, जिसके युवाओं ने कभी दूध नहीं चखा था, उन सब के लड़ने को तैयार कर दिया, एक आर्मी जैसा बना दिया।
The biggest thing was that a social transformation took place, and small villages can be incredibly competitive. If you have one political party, there are probably 3 factions of that party in that village. He said that, look, if you talk about politics in this village, I'm not going to enter the village. So he was very, very intelligent. He completely stayed away from politics. He speaks nothing but development, development and development.
वहां पे दारू का बहुत ज्यादा चलन है, और रेवली गांव करके था, उसके अंदर 7 युवा सिरोसिस ऑफ लीवर से मर गए थे। रात को रोड के ऊपर सब दारू पी के सोते थे, लेडीज ने पीना शुरू कर दिया था, बच्चों ने पीना शुरू कर दिया था। और फिर हमने तय किया कि एक आंदोलन करते हैं, और वहां की लेडीज, बच्चे, युवा सब आगे रात को मशाल लेके घूमने लगे, दारूबंदी झालीच पाइए, और दारू की दुकान पे रेड मारने लगे। और इस तरह हमने 15 गांव में दारू कंप्लीटली बंद कर दिया।
खुशी हो या गम हो, मुझे खाली शराब ही दिखती थी, शराब के अलावा मुझे दिखता ही नहीं। मगर जब से मयंक गांधी हमारे गांव में आया और उन्होंने शराब बंद की, और मुझे एक खाली मूल मंत्र दिया, बोतल पे बोतल पिए जाओ, आधी रात उतरती है, मगर खाली समाज सेवा का प्याला पिए। कि अगर मैं अपनी जीवन में इस तरह काम करूंगा गांव बदलने का, तो 25, 50, 100, 200 गांव बदल पाऊंगा। और भारत में 6.5 लाख गांव है। तो फोकस करके हमने ये सोचा कि अभी पानी के ऊपर काम करते हैं। जैसे शरीर के अंदर 70% मात्रा पानी की रहती है, वहां के प्रॉब्लम भी 70% पानी से जुड़े हुए थे। और लोगों को इकट्ठा किया। मुझे याद है 45 डिग्री की धूप 2018 में, और सारे गांव वाले साथ में मिलके काम करते थे। ऐसे करते करते हमने 222 करोड़ लीटर पानी इकट्ठा किया, 70 किलोमीटर नदी बनाई, 162 तालाब बनाए, 62 डैम्स बनाए, और पूरा गांव का गांव उमड़ पड़ता था श्रमदान करने के लिए।
गांव में पहले झगड़े वगैरह बहुत होते थे। जैसे ग्लोबल पर्ली के साथ हमारे गांव के युवक जुड़े, अभी गांव में विकास कार्य बहुत प्रगति पे है, और साथ में हम लोगों की जो एकता है उसे भी अभी कोई तोड़ नहीं सकता।
श्रमदान नहीं करते थे, गांव वाले ने 13,55,000 रुपया भी इकट्ठा किया। तो इस तरह से पानी के ऊपर खूब काम किया, और पानी आ गया तो पूरा गांव, पूरा एरिया नव चेतना आ गई। इतना सुंदर पूरा एरिया होने लगा।
हमारे गांव में जो ग्लोबल वर्ली की टीम ने जो वाटर से डेवलपमेंट का काम किया है, उसकी बदौलत हमारे गांव में अब बहुत पानी है। पहले हमारे गांव का जो पानी था वो 400 से 500 फीट तक था। अभी वो काम होने के बाद हमारे गांव का पानी का लेवल 50 से 70 फीट तक आ गया है। उसकी बदौलत हम लोग अब अच्छी फसल उगा सकते हैं।
और लोगों के अंदर नई चेतना आई, उनको लगा कि हम भी जीवन में कुछ कर सकते हैं।
या उस समय की जीत थी हमारी कि सिर्फ जमीन के ऊपर बदलाव नहीं लाए, हम मानसिक तरीके से इनको हमने जिंदा कर दिया। और जो युवा जो किसानी छोड़ के शहर में जाते थे, वो शहर में जाना उनका बंद हो गया। तो ये बहुत बड़ा बदलाव हो गया। ये वाटर मैनेजमेंट करने के बाद इनकम कैसे बढ़ानी है, ये नेक्स्ट चैलेंज था हमारे लिए। और हमने ये प्लान किया कि जो किसान कॉटन और सोया लगाता है, जहां पे उसको 10 से 20 हजार रुपया पर एकड़ की सालाना इनकम होती है, अगर उसका क्रॉपिंग पैटर्न चेंज करते हैं, अगर हम फल के पेड़ लगवाते हैं, तो उनकी इनकम बहुत ज्यादा हो सकती है।
A lot of work, and it was something it needs to be done in every part of India, because एक तो ऐसे ट्रीज लगाने से जो एक सबसे भयंकर जो डर है, which is looming on our heads about environment, about global warming. So मयंक गांधी जी का एक सीधा साधा फंडा है कि भैया झाड़ लगाओ, that is the only solution.
और फिर किसान को हमने बहुत अच्छे पौधे दिए और जबरदस्त ट्रेनिंग दिया। रेगुलर ट्रेनिंग एवरी 15 डेज हम लोग देते थे। कुछ तो ऐसे पेड़ हैं जो 2-2.5 साल के बाद फल देंगे, लेकिन पपाया और ड्रमस्टिक ऐसा था कि जिसने 8 महीना 7 महीने के अंदर प्रोडक्शन दे दिया और मार्केट वहां पे आ गया, क्योंकि क्लस्टर के अंदर बहुत बड़ी क्वांटिटी में बनता था। अब जो 10 से 20 हजार कमाते थे, वो 3 लाख के ऊपर कमाने लगे।
यहाँ हमारा जो दुष्काल परिस्थिति में हमारा एरिया पहचाना जाता है, और यहाँ बारिश भी कम होता है, और इधर पूरा कर्ज बाजारी खेती पूरा चलता था। और मैं वो सोयाबीन, कपास, बाजरी, हाइब्रिड ऐसा पिक लेने वाला किसान था। उसके बाद इसका सेवगे का जो उत्पन्न चालू हो गया, तो ऐसा हम सपने में भी नहीं सोचते कि खेती में इतना पैसा निकलता है करके। पहले हम तो वो पैसा देख के हमारा विश्वास भी नहीं होता था कि 1 एकड़ में इतना पैसा खेती किसान को मिलता है। बाद में जब चालू हो गया तो एक झाड़ को 10-15 किलो माल निकलने लगा। अच्छा से पैसा मिल गया। अपना वो कपास निकाल के फेंक देना पड़ता है, वैसा ये सेवगा का नहीं, 7-8 साल चलता है वो, अच्छा संभालेगा तो। फिर आप पहला क्या पतरे का घर, अभी घर भी बनाऊंगा वो पैसे से, अच्छा से गाड़ी बीड़ी लेगा बैठने को।
एक पपीता का पेड़ कम से कम 50 से ज्यादा 80 किलो तक ये माल देता है। और 1 एकड़ में ये अपन 900 पेड़ लगा सकते हैं। 900 पेड़ यानी कि लगभग 40 से 50 टन। पहले सोया की खेती करते थे तो 20 या 25 हजार आते थे। ये पपई की खेती करने लगे तो हमारे हाथ में 10 या 15 गुना ज्यादा 3 से 4 लाख रुपए प्रति एकड़ खर्च जाते हुए हमारे हाथ में रह गए। इधर जो मल्चिंग दिख रही है, इसमें हमने वाटरमेलन का लिया था। वाटरमेलन का एक एकड़ में खर्चा जाते हुए हमको कम से कम 1.25 लाख रुपए रह गए।
मैं एक गरीब किसान था और आत्महत्या करने को निकला था, और ग्लोबल परली आई। ग्लोबल परली ने सीताफल लगाने का मार्गदर्शन किया और उन्होंने अच्छे पेड़ लाके मुझे दिए सीताफल के। और मार्केट में जो सीताफल 20 रुपए 30 रुपए किलो जाता था, वो सीताफल आज 120-130 रुपए से जा रहा है। मैं 1 एकड़ में 3 से 5 लाख रुपए कमा सकता हूँ, ऐसी मेरी आशा है और मैं खुश हूँ।
तो खूब इनकम मल्टीप्लाई होगी। ये रिजल्ट देख के आजू बाजू के एरियाज के किसान हमारे पास आए कि हम भी लगाना चाहते हैं। तो इस साल 2020 में कोरोना का चैलेंज होने के बावजूद हम लोग ने 20 लाख से ज्यादा फल के पेड़ लगाए। कुछ सदी पहले भारत की इकोनॉमी 33% थी पूरा विश्व की, और उसका ट्रेड जो था ये करीब 30% था। आज ये 2.6% और 0.8% हो गया है। यानी भारत अगर डूब भी गया तो विश्व को कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता। इसे हमें बदलना होगा। हमने देखा कि किसान की जो इनकम है ये प्रति एकड़ 10,000 से 40,000 है। तो अगर इसको 1 लाख लेके जाए तो स्केल, स्पीड, फोकस इसका प्रयोग करके हमने काम शुरू कर दिया है। मराठवाड़ा में, मध्य प्रदेश में, पालघर में, जहां खूब गरीबी है, ऐसे इलाके में हम काम कर रहे हैं। तो लास्ट 2 साल में हमने 32 लाख फल के पेड़ लगाए। इस साल का टारगेट है 70 लाख पेड़ लगाएंगे, जिसके चलते 1 करोड़ पेड़ हम लास्ट 3 साल में लगा चुके हैं। और इस तरह से करने से, साथ में इस तरह टेक्नोलॉजी का प्रयोग, उसके साथ में बेस्ट प्रैक्टिसेस, प्रोसेसेस, सिस्टम्स इस तरह करने हैं कि कम से कम फल मरे और पूरा ट्रैकिंग हो जाए और साइंटिफिक तरीके से पूरा काम हो। क्या आपको भी लगता है कि ये देश बदल सकता है? तो जुड़िए, हमें भी आपकी जरूरत है। साथ में मिलके आपके रिसोर्सेज, आपके फंड्स, आपके कॉन्टैक्ट्स, आपके आइडियाज, नॉलेज, ये सबको साथ लेके हम चले और भारत को वापस सोने की चिड़िया बनाते हैं। जय हिंद।
So, it's a very good, Shri Mayank ji. It is a very good, documentary film, and it will motivate, the youths at the grassroots level. In those days, when we go to the cinema theaters to see that, our DAVP program, they used to have a documentary film in, the intervals. So people, as an youngsters, youths, we used to get attracted by those documentary movies, and that is a feeling I'm getting it after seeing your this video. And it's very nice that it's an important thing that this has to be documented, and this has to be introduced as a case study in our agricultural informatics program. We launched MTech in agricultural informatics, BTech agricultural informatics, and PG diploma in agricultural informatics to motivate the rural youth to join through IT in agriculture. So this is one of the case study which has to be introduced as a model for the students to understand. I think that it's a very important thing that I think the Honorable Chancellor is stuck up in a meeting in in the Nawami, it's a Clean Ganga project discussions, and he has sent his inquiries, and he wants to have a separate meeting with you when the time is convenient. And he asked me to send it that is held up in that meeting in the along with the minister, and he would like to. He knows about you. He knows you, and he wants to have a separate meeting, at your convenience. So, Mr. Gandhi ji, you would like to, you also would like to. Yesterday, I saw some of the PowerPoints which you were talking about creation of a model and center of excellence for training. You would like to talk on that, the center of excellence for training?
Yes, sir. Yes, Professor.
Yes. So, Mr. Prem shown that to PowerPoint slides, and it was talking about center of excellence for undertaking training to spread this model. That you would like to talk on that.
No, so what we are thinking is, if we have to spread it across the nation, we will have to create a world-class training center where people from all over the country can come here and get trained. So we are planning to set up a center of excellence where people from all over the nation will come here and learn about what we have done, how we have done. Then maybe those farmers can come and meet the other farmers and how they have planted trees, their success, their failure, their mistakes, their successes. So we intend to create one place where there would be a center of excellence where people from all over the country can come. We also want to make small half-acre different models as model farms where we would do different kind of plants and different kind of fruits, etc. And thirdly, we have working on a campaign called Aggregate, where we are trying to bring in various teams which want to work with us. So with the farmers, all the startups will come and work together to make processing plants, supply chains, all of those things. So we intend to create a center of excellence which can be used to scale this up across the nation.
Very nice that, and how you visualize the institutional collaboration between your institution and the Center of Agriculture Informatics and E-Governance Research Studies and Center for Agribusiness and Disaster Management Studies of the Shobhit Institute of Engineering and Technology, Meerut.
Right, sir. So we seek partnership with Shobhit University because you have people who have technology, who have understanding, knowledge in this field. So we would like to work very closely with Shobhit University because of your knowledge, because of your study on this subject, and we can help the farmers to do better kind of a plantation, cropping, etc. So we are looking to work in partnership with Shobhit University, by which we can help the farmers do better plantation, better technology, and in every subject to help the farmers completely.
No, it can be in the form of some sort of a certification program, and for the rural youths, and with case studies which just undertaken by the Global Vikas Foundation and Global Parli mission. And if there is some sort of a certification program can be launched between the Shobhit Institute of Engineering Technology and your institution, it may be a way forward for starting that, because you have got a lot of experiments and you've done it on the ground. And when you listen to the lot of farmers, the beneficiaries at the grassroots level, and what was the land previously and now how the lands are looking like, and it is an eye opener, and I strongly feel that if some sort of a certification program, maybe 2 months program, 3 months program, where the students can be talked about that how they should make the journey by looking at the case studies of Parli, that may be a wonderful things to motivate us rural students, and especially not only rural users, or all innovative youths who would like to get into agricultural discipline. Yes.
Professor Moni, we would be very happy to collaborate with you. And how do we train them? How do you give them the certificate? How do you empower them to do much better work than what they are doing right now? And do plantation, selling, marketing, earn more while having the certification, etc.
Very nice, that very nice. And also, when you are in Delhi, please let us know. We'll meet, and we'll also have subsequent virtual meetings, and it will be very nice. And when we visit to Maharashtra, I will also visit your Parli district, Parli village, then how to see and also witness the development effort which has taken place. And it is very nice that you are now moving on to establish Center of Excellence, wherein the people from throughout the world can come down and see that how things are happening on ground in India. And as I strongly feel that we have more than 400 agricultural commodities, 365 days of sunshine, more than 127 agroclimatic zones in the country. Throughout the year, we can grow the agricultural crops, produce, and agricultural value chain. And India can be a food bowl for the whole world. And I do not know why our farmer should be the debt-ridden farmer. And you have shown the way, and let us generate a lot of collaborative projects to make the rural youth to get into the agricultural systems. So with this, and we will close our webinar today. And thank you very much for participating in this program. And we also would like to have your other project, of managers who have worked with you also can join with us in this weekly webinar. And today is normally it used to take at 11 o'clock. I never stopped it, but today I was invited by the government of Tamil Nadu, the Tamil Nadu Small Scale Industries Association, to talk on Industry 4.0 for small scale industries, because this is the only area where I have been talking from 2004 onwards. I started in Madras Institute of Technology in 2004 on digital SMEs, 2016 Industry 4.0. Now we are working for how to motivate, how to digitalize the 63 million small scale units in the country to make them globalized. And that's why I know with this one we had to shift your 11 o'clock program to 2:30, which you have agreed, and thank you very much. And otherwise it will be start at 11 o'clock, 11 a.m. Sharp. So thank you very much, and also ask your managers also who worked and made the program successful to participate in this program. With this, have a nice day, and let us close the webinar and
Thank
leave
you so
this.
much.
Thank
you so much.
Thank you.